As they say on the streets, it's hard out here for a mutant. Hello and welcome to the newest, greatest, and most awesome episode of Rafa's Toy Studio, the place where I get to talk about those toys that are awesome and that everyone should check out. Now, one of the most common questions posed by the fandom is, are you Team Marvel or are you Team DC? I'm here to say, I'm not down with that petty shit. I don't give a fuck. I love both. I love me some Iron Man and some Clark Kent. I'm down with the Lizard and Gorilla Grodd. But I can say that there is one character that I respect, that I look up to, and I believe is criminally disrespected and overlooked. I'm talking about the fearless leader of the X-Men, the beautiful man that you see before you, the mutant with the killer stare, Cyclops. Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, aka leader of Pax Utopia, aka real-ass motherfucker, is not only my favorite X-Men character, but he's also my favorite Marvel character in general. I mean, from the archetype hero, Boy Scout, to the militant, calculating, and strategic mutant revolutionary, Cyclops is layers upon layers of complexity. I mean, he's consistently flawed, and he's terribly tragic. He's a character that I can get behind, I can understand his motivations, and I appreciate the sacrifices and choices that he makes to keep the brink of his species from extinction, especially after the decimation event. He does what both Xavier and Magneto couldn't fucking do, and he united the mutants in the face of insurmountable odds and during the most dangerous, perilous, and depressing time in mutant history. And all this after losing the person that he loved most. So, Cyclops, again, he's a pretty big deal. So, believe the fucking hype. Cyclops is the hero that we deserve. He's the hero that we need. And so that's why it's my honor to share my Marvel Comics Cyclops action figure collection. First of all, this is my favorite Cyclops toy. This is the Hasbro's Wolverine's Legends Cyclops 6-inch action figure. See, this is the Cyclops. This is the iconic leader of the X-Men. This is the Scott that got his people through the Decimation event, through Messiah Complex, through Second Coming, and through Avengers vs. X-Men. Overall, this toy is really, really great for the simple complexity of the paint. I mean, those blues, that dark blue with the yellow, really bring in with that iconic look that he rocks after all those specific events. Rocking the visor, just that angry look on his face speaks volumes. And more importantly, he's pretty articulate, specifically being able to move, having many different joints, being able to bring his fingers up to his head so he can shoot you with his optic blasts. Like I said, this is the toy that I've had that I use for so many of the different battles that I create in my toy pictures. I love this specific Cyclops figure, and I utilize him for everything that I can. He's pretty sturdy. He can be utilized a lot, either to throw a kick, to throw a punch, or just to kind of pose him in whatever way that I want to. Regardless, this is the Cyclops that I can just look at and go, yup, that's Scott Summers. But more importantly, he's a versatile toy that can be played in many different ways. Whereas the Hasbro Wolverine's Legends Cyclops is pretty muscular and defined in his chiseled abs, here I have a much more sturdy, just as sexy Cyclops. Here I've got the Marvel Select Cyclops action figure by Diamond Select. Diamond creates these toys specifically, they're much more sturdy. As you can see, there's a lot more heft to this toy, both in weight and in just, amount of plastic. Kind of looking at the comparison, this is the Scott that works out and is all about making sure that he has plenty of protein in his diet to create that mass. Whereas this Cyclops, all focused on cardio, maybe some CrossFit, and so is ready to, much more slim. Calling him slim, exactly. But this toy specifically with the Marvel Select, this is the vintage undies edition. I mean, that classic look, that navy blue and yellow costume from the 70s. This is that Cyclops that, came as part of the team member that fought against Magneto in his first mission with the other fantastic X-Men, the first 5 as they go about it. And he comes with a set piece of the Danger Room and an extra head. And, so I can kind of interchange them as necessary with his ruby quartz lenses. But again, this is a very solid toy. And going from there, talking back about originals, or specifically going back to the beginning, this toy right here, this is the Cyclops from the Hasbro's Marvel Legends All New X-Men action figure set. So he came in a box set that looks really cool with all 5 of Xavier's original X-Team. So it's not just him, but in this box we also have Marvel Girl Jean Grey, the Beast, Angel, and Iceman. Kind of a reinvention of the original team here, specifically not utilizing the original costume as in the vintage look, but more of a reimagining, kind of more with the yellows and oranges, specifically with this Scott Summers. The box set looks really cool with all 5 of these specific mutants, but I only bought this toy on eBay because I couldn't drop $100 on the whole set. And like I said, this Cyclops has the exact same face mold and almost body mold as the Wolverine's Legends one, but younger Cyclops, just starting off, enjoying the world, gonna be the leader of the X-Men. This is the Cyclops that's seen some real shit and now has to make the hard decisions to keep everybody alive. Dance now. Here we got my Marvel Legends Series 10 variant X-Factor outfit Cyclops figure from the Sentinel Build-A-Figure collection. This toy comes with his stylish gray blue tones and a sick bell bottoms. Look at these. Look at these boots. Comes with a single comic where Cyclops faces off against the Mohawk wearing Storm to lead the X-Men. Like I said, this is the variant from the X-Factor series. I got this toy in Tucson at Toys Inc., which has some very expensive figures, but they have a really cool collection. I really like this toy because, again, utilizing a lot of the joints, being able to move a lot. The detail specifically in this figure is really nice. Like, it's not just the standard blue paint, but it has actual texture to it, especially with these cool ass bell bottoms that he's rocking too. Again, got the visor, got that natural angry look that befits the leader of the X-Men. So overall, this is another really fun toy that I like to play with. A different looking Cyclops rather than all the same ones. If you're a fan of Bryan Singer's X-Men movies, then we also got the figure for you. This is the X-Men Origins Wolverine, Cyclops, and Colossus X-Men Trilogy Collection 2-pack action figures. Okay, so this is the Cyclops from that 2-pack set. This is the Colossus, and they both basically come from X2. From the movies, again, I wasn't a big fan of the films, mostly because I felt that it was a gross misrepresentation and, tragic look at what Cyclops could have been. It painted again that picture of Cyclops being just a secondary character, probably even a third character that didn't really matter. He had a little bit of a bigger role in the first movies, but then after the second one, he didn't exist. It kind of really, really sucked. But what I do like about this toy is he has a great likeness to James Marsden, which is really cool, who I thought had a good look for Cyclops. Brian, as you make these new movies, please give Scott Summers that justice. He deserves it. This toy is really cool, very articulate, moves a lot. Standard paint from the actual movie, more blacks, looking like something from the Ultimate X-Men line that came out, as well as Grant Morrison's X-Men run. So this toy, also fun to play with, fun to look at. A good likeness to the movie for those of you that like to have the movie-specific toys. And just look at these. Look at that Wolverine, They're ready to go fight together, and they're ready to save the world. Now, besides these really chiseled, buff Cyclops toys, I've also got some pretty big doll ones as well. I've picked these up in different areas. I don't remember. I was in Tucson at a thrift shop, and I picked these up just because I saw them, and they were different, and that's what I really wanted. And I really wanted Jim Lee's artistic look of X-Men, specifically the Cyclops from the X-Men morning cartoon show. So, having that wavy hair and that face that just seems like he's going to be screaming Jean's name in agony. That's why I kind of picked up these toys. But specifically looking at these, so this is the Marvel Famous Covers Cyclops 9-inch action figure. That iconic morning cartoon look that everybody kind of grew to know about the X-Men, showcased here in this very specific area. Let me bring the camera back a little bit so you kind of get a better grasp of what these toys look like. See, they're so big, I can't keep them in the screen. Okay, so here, what I really like about this toy, made by Toy Biz, is it has an authentic fabric clothing and stylistic window box packaging that I didn't have because, again, this was a used toy. The head and hands, or in the gloves and the boots, are the only ridiculous parts to this toy. They're ridiculously big, and this is a kid's toy right there. Like I said, the fabric feels nice. It looks really clean. It feels really good. And again, he has oversized hands and gloves and feet, and then the head, like I said, is just kind of ridiculous. But like I already said, this is the iconic Cyclops that so many people know that aren't very familiar with X-Men. So I mean, it's good to have, and I'm happy to have him. Over here we have the Hasbro 2006 Marvel Legends Signature Series 9-inch fully posable Cyclops figure. Again, Cyclops specifically from the Astonishing X-Men. Go check that book out. This Cyclops also very similar, only in this case they kind of fixed the idea with the gloves. These are actual hands that can move and clamps. And the legs, again, boots, a lot better. Very superposable, kind of as he brings forth. I mean, look at that. Look at all these things he can do. Look at those joints. And again, that fabric, the fabric feels really nice, and it's kind of something that you want. So just kind of for scale, these are these two figures specifically, if I can ever pose this one. And over here we have the standard toy Cyclops. So these figures are a lot bigger. They're not as chiseled or buff, but they're not supposed to be. They're more of that, again, iconic look. I don't have any gripes with these toys. I really like them. It's more about the look than anything else, and being able to just kind of do whatever I need, or specifically have Cyclops look, Gene! You know, it's those kinds of things that you could allows you to recreate these stories and memories. And then, of course, I have the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Uncanny XMen Cyclops action figure, which was part of the Build-A-Figure for Jubilee, so he came with Jubilee's arm. This toy, again, 6 inches tall, accurate detail from the comic book. This is during the run of Uncanny X-Men by Michael Bendis, which a lot of people that, you know, dislike, or big fans of Cyclops will say Michael Bendis ruined Cyclops. I still like those stories. I think they add extra complexity to his character, which I think is really cool. But I feel like all the people around Cyclops are just being, you know, judgmental, at times hypocritical assholes. Specifically Beast and Storm. Fuck you guys, this is your boy. He helped you, and you turned on him. Can't believe you did that. But overall, this toy, really, really cool. This is the only one with the paint specifically meant to characterize Cyclops when he becomes the mutant revolutionary. And the only gripe that I have with this toy is that both of his hands are fists. So, I mean, he can't even shoot any laser beams, which, again, spoiler from the comic, he can't do under control anyway. But it showcases just how angry Cyclops has become over the years. He went from, you know, again, all of these toys share kind of the same mold. He was first that character that, you know, was very hopeful in the future, but, you know, being able to, I'm going to shoot my beams. Again, his fingers don't get close enough, right? Always angry, as you can see. And then again, focusing on, I've seen some things, I got to do what I got to do. But again, at least one of the hands was the gesture to be able to, you know, do what he needs to do. And then over here, now we have Cyclops being unable to contain his rage, his fury, and that's why his hands are just fists, and that's all that we can really showcase from this. But besides that, again, this is that iconic Cyclops that you needed. You know, he's the one that sent Professor X straight to the Shadow Realm, you know, sent him straight to the depths of hell. Again, the one that joined forces with Emma Frost, you know, his girlfriend, you know, kind of them together, rocking that whole black look, which is a really cool combination, ready to drop a sick beat. But more important than that as well, this is just the Cyclops that, you know, came out and he had to do, again, now he's lost the support of the people. He's been branded as a criminal because of the events of Avengers vs. X-Men. But again, he still continues to do what he has to do to bring his mutant brethren together. I love this figure. And again, the body is basically the same as my favorite Cyclops toy. But regardless of that, it's a good collection to have because this is a significant Cyclops to own because of the story that we necessarily have. The only thing that I wish that I had, you guys, is I wish I had the X-Men Marvel Legends Phoenix 5 Cyclops. So originally, for those of you that collect toys and for those of you that don't, during X-Men vs. Avengers, or Avengers vs. X-Men, Cyclops harnesses, he's one of the people that harnesses the power of the Phoenix Force, and he has this awesome costume that he utilizes, and he becomes this all-powerful Messiah-type character that just looks so fucking badass. And they actually made this toy. They made a prototype toy that was going to be for sale, but then they decided not to do it. And so now there was one that was auctioned off for like a shitload of money, And I mean, there's a lot of people that make custom toys. That's kind of why I'd like to make custom toys one day, to be able to do that. I don't think I have the talent though. I wish I had that toy. For those of you that watch my videos and you're good at making custom toys, or at the same time you have that figure and hey, you just want to be a homie and give me that toy, I'd really appreciate it. But overall, like I said, it's all about building that connection to this character, Scott Summers, the one true leader of the X-Men. And so that's my Cyclops collection. Scott Summers is one of those characters that shouldn't be taken lightly, no matter how much some people try to portray him. And don't get me wrong, if you really like Wolverine, that's fine. I also really like Wolverine, and they can have their adventures together. They could be friends. They can have their schism, whatever you want to call it. But regardless, I mean, Cyclops is his own character. Cyclops shouldn't be compared to Wolverine. They're two different characters. And if you can't see past that, then realistically, I don't know what to tell you. It's always fun being able to share your toys and being able to kind of talk about the things that you like about these toys. And specifically with these ones, like I said, Scott Summers Cyclops is one of those characters that really speaks volumes to me, because he's someone that people perceive as just, this goody two-shoes nice guy who is the leader of the X-Men, but at the same time, he can be those things, but he makes the choices that other people don't make. He's the one that's pulling the strings and trying to make sure that everything that he does is for the good of the people that he loves and he cares about. And even when everything falls everything goes against him, even when everything is just stacked up against him, he is still there, willing to do what he can from the behind the scenes, or whether as a new bad guy figure, to do what has to be done to help his people. And I think that's very important. And like I said, this is the leader who was there for the X-Men during the new X-Men saga. The one that had to watch his love die. The badass, characterized by Joss Whedon in The Astonishing X-Men. He's the one that led everybody through House of M for that final battle to change everything back to the way it used to be. He led his species through decimation, through Deadly Genesis, through the Endangered Species arc, and the aftermath of the Civil War. He was the one that led everybody through Messiah Complex, and also the one that discovered Utopia, fought for Nation X, and the greatest adventure of all time, Second Coming. He was there to make sure that the mutants had a fighting chance in the future. And even with the terrible things that happened during Schism, or even during the stuff that happened during Avengers vs. X-Men, this was a character that did his best to help everybody. And there's and I'm sorry if I come off as too much information, but this is something that I feel very passionate about, besides just the toys, is the stories and the connections that I can make across them. And that's why I feel so impassioned about this character, because people deserve to know the great stories that he's involved in. So please check out those stories and really enjoy them. And there's a different variety of Cyclops for everybody, whether you like the original badass Cyclops that everybody needs in their life, or at the same time, if you're more of the fan of, Jim Lee's Cyclops from the Saturday morning cartoon, that's fine. If you like Astonishing X-Men and you like a different type of Cyclops there, that also works too. If you need your Disco Inferno X-Factor Cyclops leader, you got him there. If you're more of the movie variety, we also got that one too. And of course, the sturdy, buff, original X-Men that you really need in your life, and including the one from All New X-Men that Michael Bendis did very, very well. Or even if you want to continue to start and say that the new Cyclops, the Revolutionary, is the one that you really need in your life. But overall, these are the characters that, inspire me, and it's these kinds of things that people should really keep into contact with, because what's going to happen is you're going to feel strongly about things in your life and characters that, mean a lot to you. So, own that, enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with liking what you like. And there's nothing wrong in being able to express that in whatever medium you can. And I mean, if you don't like Cyclops, that's fine. Don't check him out. But again, I've said many good stories that he's involved in, and give him another shot. It could be something. And at the very least, pick up some of these action figures. If you are a Wolverine fanboy, that's fine. Wolverine needs somebody to fight. Why not pick up a Cyclops? And so I leave you with this. Always remember to not only enjoy the plastic, but always remember to enjoy the things that you love. And if you want more information on specifically Scott Summers, if I haven't been able to convince you, or if you're kind of like, okay, that sounds pretty good, please check out the top 5 Dead or Alive Cyclops X-Men editorial by Black Nerd Problems. go check that out. That is the best piece of writing on this character I've ever read, and shout out to them because it's fucking awesome. Please do yourselves a favor, go and read it. Makes a lot of good points, much more articulate than what I said, and really brings forward a lot of fun stuff. So enjoy Cyclops, enjoy the collection, and always remember to enjoy the plastic.